because I'm not stopping potatoes.
That's the Irish woman in you, Catherine.
Let me take a look at the questions here. Quinoa, yeah, that's it. When do you substitute it? Okay, yeah. Well, you see, if we're going to eat, and Sylvie is still in the old method, my wife is still in the old method that sometimes she likes, because in the afternoon, I'll prepare her like I did this afternoon. I did this big turkey thing, and I prepared her some edamame. Edamame?
Yeah.
Edamame.
Yeah.
Edamame.
Yeah. I don't take much of it, but sometimes I share and I put some green peas in there, and she goes, I don't like green peas. I go, you don't have much, because I go, I need my green peas and I don't want to cook on two different bowls when you come home and eat in the afternoon, because the green peas contain the 3 proteins from muscle building. And the edamame for her is the photogene and the things she needs for her post-menopause, which, no, you weren't there, or I can't remember if you were there, but Kim, during my thing, but I think I talked about it. Yeah, I did. The hormones, why 80% of the women down here in North America have hot flashes during their menopause, but only 20% in Japan have, hot flashes. What's the difference? They were basing themselves on, they looked at it and said, wow, it's the amount of soya that they eat in their food that has sometimes these acronyms. I have to look it up. Hold on. General health was weight loss. There you go. I'll find you exactly what it is. There you go. Sorry, it's in French here. Let me just go here. I might have Kim to translate. Phytoestrogens, which you find in your soya tofu, but in an average, a Japanese woman will have 20 to 40 milligrams of diascovenes. I don't remember the English word, but I haven't translated all my how do you say it, my PowerPoints. I got like 900 slides translates back to English because I did all this in French, and I'm sorry.
I'm sure the phytoestrogen will be the same. I'm sure that's the same word in English.
Distoflan.
What's the other?
Yeah, I got this from 3 hours of listening to Isabelle Hutt in her book that she came out about menopause with women. And, she talked about the research, which is just below, as you could see, and the effects on it. It's like, it works on at least a good percentage, because, if there are only 20% of the women that have hot flashes compared to 80% here in North America, then yeah, it does something. It might not do something for you because your molecules might not be like that, because I know I talked to someone, she goes, I tried everything, I did that, and it doesn't work for me. As I talked with many, and it works perfectly for them. It worked for Sylvie. That's why I try to keep a balance in her food when I do it. I feed her a little bit more of that than I do myself, because obviously estrogens in that have a conflict with testosterone, with muscle building, and most of what we know what happens with men. So I don't want tits like this guy has. So, all right, questions.
Jean, I'll start at the top and read some of the questions if you like. So, Catherine, did he answer the question for you about what is the secret? Oh, she's doing something else. I'll go back.
What was the relationship? So phytoestrogen is the same in English. It's phytoestrogen. A lot of those terms, the translation is the same, Sha, just to tell you. What is the secret when you were talking about the protein and you say none of them are whole proteins, that you have to put something else, and you say you're going to be building something with it? But in a nutshell, if you're vegetarian and you're just taking your protein off the list, you said, which is pumpkin seeds. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Complete protein. What do you need to do to get that complete protein?
Yeah. You see, proteins get divided. It's a molecule. It's a big molecule. A complete protein is like a big molecule. And it gets detached. They take parts of it and it becomes amino acids. And we have essential amino acids that we need in our body. These are non-essentials. These are branched, as you could see, the same thing here. Okay, it's just that these are the ones that are muscle building. They're BCAA, they're called. Conditional is not as necessary, but these are classified as non-essentials. But these are the ones that are very essential that we need every day in our body. And these we could get in a complete protein as meat as the animal world, because the animal world gives us a complete protein. Now, how do we decipher
Now,
all
when
this?
you say
for
animal world, do you
vegetarian?
mean fish as well? Like, what do you, fish?
Fish, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, animal world.
sorry, okay.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Go
Now, how do we decipher that if we become vegetarian? I went to this training a while back, and it was like all different recipes on vegetarian. I get into the class, and there's a lot of people my age, but there's a lot of people that were older than me too. And we were 38 people, around that amount, plus the one who's in front. And the teacher says, "You have any questions before we start?" I go, "Sorry, I'm writing a book and I'm looking for information." I go, "How many of you are here? Raise your hand that are totally vegetarian, or the one vegan, even more, you don't touch anything that was created by animal or whatever." 36 of them raised their hand. And I looked at them, and I looked at the teacher, asked me, goes, "Why is the question, may I ask?" I go, "I was just curious, but because I was wondering." I go, "If vegetarian is so good, why is," and I don't want to hurt anyone or point, but I go, "I see most of you are overweight, all 36 of you." I go, "Why is that?" Teacher in the front, she goes, "It's just a misunderstanding on understanding the carbs and the balance of protein that they take. That's all it is." So just to show you, I pointed on that subject and I made a YouTube video on that. So basically, BCA, these are some of the proteins, but I did a chart. This is a complete protein, quinoa, buckwheat in the plant base. That's spirulina. It's like, there's grass in the bottom of the ocean, the weed in the back.
Yep.
Chia seeds, hemp seeds, soya, tofu, temp, edamame. Those are the complete ones. And the animal base, obviously. I'm just looking to see, do I have that chart? Yeah, that's a complete that I built on one of the molecules program that I had that we resold. I kept one. And I show in the video as you detach molecules by molecules, there are different amino acids. Here's a chart I was looking for. So if you're eating pumpkin seeds, make sure that you have greens. Then that's going to complete itself to make a complete protein moving forward. If you're eating greens, make sure that you're eating one of those, nuts and seeds. If you're eating grains, grains are not complete proteins, make sure that you're eating greens. Greens again, make sure that you're eating grains. It's always a mix of it, because sometimes they just don't want to tell you. I asked Isabelle even, I go, "Come on, it's not even a complete protein you're thinking." "Yeah, but just mix your food during the day." But that doesn't answer my question. I have to look it up into a freaking study to understand it, to be able to explain it, and know the deficiencies of the amino acids that we're missing in each of them, to know what the combination is. And you Google it, and shit, there's 150 designs that will show you arrows and explain it to you. But, anyways, I thought you asked the question. There it is.
It's interesting because you have lentils up there. Anne-Marie, you may want to unmute yourself and ask him the question. Unless you want us to ask for you, you're very welcome to ask.
How does lentils? I thought that lentils would be a good source of complex carbs and protein, plant-based protein. What is your opinion on that?
Yeah,
Just
there
curious.
again. Sorry. Again,
Thank you.
lentils. Jesse.
Anne Marie.
Well, it's Anne Marie. I'm on my daughter's.
Oh, okay.
It's Anne Marie, though.
Sorry, I don't know the faces.
Thank you.
It is a complex carb, which is great. Okay, but it is not a complete protein. You need to substitute either legumes in it, like greens. You have to add greens to it to be able to amount the amount of protein. So if you have 20 grams of protein on this side of lentils, it's very difficult to attain 20 grams of greens in the other side, but you balance as much as you can to make this complete as a protein. Because what I mean by a limited protein, let's just take this side. This side may be just good for your skin. It may be good for your eyes and hair and your organs, but it has nothing to do with your muscles, which is very important, and everything else, because we're made out of protein. I'm just giving you an example here, okay? Take legumes. For peas, they're great for muscles, but it's going to stand there. But all the rest will suffer. Your hair, your skin, your aging of your skin, everything. It takes that protein, those amino acids to go and, recycle your skin completely. So you need that. As for complex carbs, just for an example, remember that intestine? Remember those hairs? Can you see my hand? Yeah, okay. Those tight, okay? Protein goes in, it's taken apart, it goes in and goes around and goes into your body. Now, complex carbs, before they get torn apart in your intestines, okay, the simple carbs will go through right away at the beginning of your intestine. You'll get energy right away. So you run, you have that energy to run. Complex carb will take a lot longer to go. It'll pass this part at the beginning and go deeper into your intestines all the way and start getting torn apart by the critters. And once they're gone down to almost a simple carb, then they will be absorbed. That's why they say before a long run, complex carbs are good because they'll last longer into your intestines, give you energy for a longer period. I hope that answers your question.
That was fantastic. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
John, I'm just watching the time, so I'm going to read another question from the group. I'm going to skip mine because I figure I can corner you another time if I really need to.
Oh, no.
It's that if you're eating reasonably healthy, and I think that means like sort of low on the gluten, avoiding lots of sugars and artificial sugars, like reasonably healthy as based on sort of what we know, do you still need to add the pre and probiotics?
The prebiotics, if you're eating healthy, you don't have to. It's in your food. A lot of greens and things like that. I never take prebiotics. But I'm assured that I have a good amount of fiber during my day, which is soluble fiber, which you could absorb. Because some companies, some manufacturers out there, they really write it down on the labels. And you got to start reading the labels if you want to eat properly. That's where we all started, reading labels. And one day we could do another video on that just for labels alone. It's more than an hour to understand. But once you start reading, it takes a long time for the first 3 months. And after that, you just turn around, no good. You know right away. But some manufacturers will actually tell you soluble and insoluble fiber. So that's really nice. You know where you're going. But in greens, veggies, things like that, no problem there. They're all soluble, which will feed your critters and make them happy, and will keep that balance of good and bad critters that you have in your gut.
Okay, so the prebiotic not as important if you're eating healthy. So the probiotic, do you still take a probiotic?
Yeah, probiotics, if you had antibiotics or things like that that might have screwed up your gut, and we all know that, it's good to take probiotics every day for 1 month time. After that, it's not worth it. You're throwing your money away.
Okay.
But what I do is every 3 or 4 days, I might take one to balance my gut, depending on what I did. On my cheat days, I know we want to go out shopping, and I don't find anything healthy, but a vegetarian pizza, but I don't know what the hell's in it. It's like Sunday night, I'll take a probiotic. But I may take it every 3 days, depending on sometimes if I have issues sleeping.
Okay.
Because a probiotic, remember,
Serotonin.
your happy critters creates 90% of your serotonin. Serotonin is used as the happy. That's why I'm always happy. Will be used to create the melatonin in your body or in your brain as to help you sleep. You don't need much of it, 0.3 grams. That's it. But
I'm gonna have to go buy a bottle of those probiotics and maybe
After every potato, Catherine. After every potato.
Yeah, leave those potatoes.
I'll be living on pills. Jean, I know that all of the people in here would really benefit from this one thing I know you talk of. I don't know that it can be covered fast. So if it can, great. If it can't. For people with sleeping, or I know one time you had a shoulder issue and you used red light therapy. And I really am interested. If you can explain it within like a couple of minutes in just a highlight of why.
Boy, is the guy prepared or what?
I'm kind of scared. Maybe you know me too well.
Okay, so
while you're pulling that up, Roxanne just asked a fast question on, can she have sweet potatoes instead of what? No, I don't like sweet potatoes. Don't forget that.
There's very little difference between the potato and the sweet potato, but if you have to make a choice, the sweet potato is obviously the best because after you cook it about, the starch changes molecules a bit. There's a little bit, maybe less sugar, even though it's sweet, but it's less simple starch. It's a whole mixture.
Jean, if you want to shut me down, okay? Just shoot me. Take me out to the bar and shoot me. That would be the same thing.
It's all right. I'll swing through this really quickly. So,
potato talk.
No potato. So, obviously you're talking about, but what you're talking about is the infrared or red lamp that I used to cure my shoulder pain, which I was having. And I started that a few years ago because I went snowboarding with my son and I fell. And I hurt my shoulder really badly. I couldn't even raise my arm to, like this. I couldn't even raise it higher than this. It would hurt like hell. And I went to visit the doctors and chiros and nothing would hurt. Nothing would help. So I fell upon the infrared. And I go, what the hell is this? Since I work with, a lot of light in, the engineering part that I do, I started reading on this to understand the biomechanical of it, and more it's like, holy moly, why isn't this out? But I could understand people are very skeptical about this, and back away and just say, what, light's going to help me out? Believe it or not, after 3 months, I was 90% cured, and after 1 year, it's like nothing happened. Okay, now I'm asking people is like, yeah, they use blue light in dermatologists, in hospitals. They use red light and infrared light in other cases. There's over 4,000 studies made of it, all positive. The red light goes a little bit less deeper into your skin as the infrared goes a lot deeper, okay? Infrared, by the way, we can't see, okay? So this, just an example, just to give you an example. I'm just running through this really quickly, okay?
Thank you.
There's different wavelengths, very specific wavelength, okay, that the light will have an effect on our cells, okay? And blue light will take away for a kid, a baby who has the bile is not working properly in his liver and his gallbladder. They'll cover his eyes, put him on blue light for 12, 24 hours, I can't remember the time, to get his bladder working again. Teenagers with a lot of acne, they're going to go to the dermatologist. They're going to use the blue light on with glasses to get the infection because it kills bacteria.
Can you just buy blue light for that?
Yeah, it's very dangerous to use. You got to be very careful on it. You know, got to be very away from your eyes as much as possible.
Yeah, perfect.
Two other wavelengths in the red light. These will go skin deep. That's about it. But will be able to generate your skin, get rid of the it's the cicatrices, it's the
Scars, yeah.
scars.
And wrinkles.
Yeah. And this wavelength will go deeper into your body to fix bones and everything like that. Okay, that's the one I use the most because mine was about 2 inches deep. My
What that
nerve-
HeLight that you're talking about, is it infrared?
No, but I'm coming to that.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, just to understand, it comes from the company HeLight, which they're downtown Montreal. They use the red light to help women, you know, relax, get rid of scars or, you know, the how do you say that again?
Wrinkles.
Wrinkles. They use 630 to 630 nanometers in the wavelength that they use. I put this as like, why is it so hard to understand that red light would do this? How about electricity? You get these solar panels outside and you put them out in the light, just light, normal light, sunlight, whatever, even light without the sun. That's not directly on them. They create 110 volts, enough for you to power your whole house if you got enough. Could you see it? Yeah, light we could see, but light is built out of photons. They're little white things, you know, and they, you know, that goes through. But it's like an electron. You've never seen one, but you know it's there, you know? So light is it. Let's take another example. UVA, UVB, UVC. UVA, UVB, UVB especially goes on your skin, creates cholesterol, goes to your body, goes to your liver, creates vitamin D. You can't see UVA or UVB, UVC. It's impermeable to the eyes. But it's there anyways, and it does a reaction to our skin. So why not red light? Red light, what it's going to do, if you take a red cell, you know, your little red cell, let's grow it up, okay? They have many of these things inside, mitochondria. They're batteries. They're simple batteries. They're where all your energy for the day comes. It's those little things inside your red cells. You may have 10, 100, or 1,000 of them, depending how like young you are and how fast your metabolism is, how much exercise you do, and how much you create your thing. These critters work with 90% of the oxygen that you breathe and feed on the food that you take, but there's another way to feed them to get that energy out. That's how they look, okay? That's a growing picture. You could put red light on them to feed them, and they will energize. They will, you know, they'll feed them like a battery. You know, when you see this commercial, they take a phone and they put it on a plate in their car and it just like starts getting energy because of the electromagnetic energy. The red light is exactly the perfect frequency wavelength for that cell, okay? So I always tell myself, plants live on light. We live on photobiomodulation. We get our own light created. If you take a red light, a red cell, okay, in our body, and you point a red light on it, or infrared at the right wavelength, these photons slow down, okay, go through your red blood cell until they hit one of those mitochondria, I told you, those batteries. And when they hit it, they energize it. They're full of energy. So what it does is like, as we grow older, those mitochondria, you have less energy. We might have 50% of the energy left. But with red light or infrared, you energize them to 100%. So you have a lot more energy. You gotta be almost careful how you use it because you might have too much energy to be able to sleep at night. So I use it on my heart every day, but in the morning to give me energy for my day for 10 minutes because I know the distance, I know the formula and all that. Now, coming back to this, what you're asking about, this works like red light, but it's not there to give you that energy or energize your mitochondria like I'm talking about. because it's on your desktop away from you. It's at 30 centimeters or 40 centimeters, depending on how far your desktop is. And it's dim. It's not powerful enough, but it's high enough in energy, in light, to give the room an aspect of absence of blue light completely. You know, you're in a dark room. That after it starts dimming, you open your eyes. I know I've been using it for more than a year. You open your eyes after 5 minutes, you look at the room. It's got that red sleepy that I just can't keep my eyes open. It's just like, I just fall asleep. It just helps. So basically, like I write, it just improves or helps and favoriser, how do you say that in English?
Favors.
Favorize, yeah, favorize sleep. Will it help you sleep longer at night and everything like that? If you got a racing mind like him and me, probably not. You'll wake up in the middle of the night like we always do, you know? You just turn it back on, do some breathing, you know, calm yourself down, and use that again to help you fall back asleep. Hope that answers your question on that little red light.
It does. Thank you. Does
It's
anybody else have any other questions for Jean before we end the night?
Potatoes.
Catherine, I think we should, just looking at the time and also getting dark in my room. I don't have a light on. I'm gonna have to go find one.
I have no idea what time it is.
But yeah, if anybody needs, or if anybody would like to ask a question, great. My questions, I can, like I said, I don't want to take the time to answer them now. I kind of know some of the answers. I was doing it also to get other people to ask questions, just to get the conversations going. So, oh, somebody just wrote, I see. Oh, it was a thank you, Jean.
You're welcome. Yes. No, Anne-Marie.
I'm always in like, I love the answers. I know there was a time that I would go for, I bought an infrared sauna, and it was something that I did every night, and I really felt good. So what I'm going to say is I don't know enough about all of it, but the person sold me, and I never regretted it. I love the knowledge you have, and I really have to say that I like the way you simplified it to make it easy for us, because it's very easy to go buy every vitamin out there and do the quick fix. I think Karine did ask a very important question that I think everybody would like to hear about.
I'm still here. I was just turning on lights.
Yeah. She asked a question on your fasting, because you brought that up. And I think that would be like, I think that's something that everybody wonders, because people talk about fasting and there's many different ways. I've met many people that do it. And Karine specifically put in the chat, she was too polite to ask you and take your time. I'm not as polite. I will ask you. Can you share? I know what the answer, but people in here don't know. Can you explain why fasting? And anybody who wants to leave, you could leave. But why fast? And to make it effective, how long do you have to fast?
Okay. Sorry. Like I said, still in French. Haven't translated my 900 slides yet. I'm on the process of doing this. Fasting, you got to be very careful with it, because if you're diabetic, just make sure that you get followed with your doctor on there, because you're used to, inject yourself with insulin because of the sugar and everything like that. But in this case, you're not taking sugar. If you have, or you're taking high pressure, or high blood pressure, if you have high blood pressure.
If you take medicine for high blood pressure.
Yeah, medication for high blood pressure. Be very careful on that, because make sure you go buy yourself, something to test your pressure with, with those meters that you put around your arms. Why am I saying that? It's between 3 days and 2 weeks. Your pressure might go down so low that you might not need your medication anymore. So you might have to be off your medication, but obviously you have to ask your doctor for that and be followed. If you see your pressure going down more than 109, it's time to go see your doctor and say, okay, there's time for a readjustment here. Because what, fasting does in a way is just clean up. You're giving your body more time to clean. And basically there's different types of fasting. There's 12-12, 14-10, 16-8, which is the most common. What does that mean? 12-12, it means 12 hours fasting, no food, nothing. 12 hours, you got a window to eat. What I do is 16-8 because I got used to 12-12. I got down to 14-10, and then I put myself at 16-8. You could stop eating at 9 o'clock at night and then start back at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when my wife gets home at in the afternoon, ready to go back to school. She comes and eat with me. So I do 16-8, which is the most utilized. After 12-12 over here, 12 hours of fasting, exponentially 2 hours, every 2 hours, it's exponential that your body has time to clean up. Okay, and the advantage go up exponentially. That's why 16-8 is the most common thing to give as much time as your body. So basically, we're not meant to eat 3 meals per day. If we look back at our ancestors, it's great if they had 1 or 2 meals per day.
And is that the same for women and men?
For both, everybody. Yeah, and it's amazing that I wouldn't go back to 14 or 12. I'd stick at 16. You know why? I work in the afternoon, and I would like just to not eat because my mind is so clear and I could work so good. Because why? My body doesn't have any more sugar, and it's using my fat in my stomach, changing it to ketones, special term. It's a special sugar that your brain thrives on that. And the clarity in your brain, it's unbelievable. And you're working, it's like, man, I don't want to go eat. I got to prepare dinner.
Jeff, one of the things you're saying, you're doing this by design. You cheat on weekends, you do. The problem I think with people that fast that don't think all this through is they just don't eat. Like I would tell you, my problem is some days I'll go, maybe I'll have supper. You know what? But what am I having? I haven't taken enough protein. I haven't taken enough of what I need. So it's about making sure what you're eating while you're doing this fasting works. It's not just about fasting. Don't eat and then eat that one meal of potatoes. That's not going to work.
Totally agree with you.
I love what you
shared. Your body will make you feel good, Yeah.
I love what you shared. I'm sure we'll have you back, and God willing, and your generosity. I think it's just brilliant. If nobody has any other questions, I'm going to stop recording now.